Hello, this is the first video tutorial of the zoology paper. Let's start. First, the questions we have to match the correct. So here asking that diphtheria, pneumonia and leprosy, these all are hereditary? No, that is going to be wrong, of course. See, AIDS, syphilis, gonorrhea, these all are bacterial diseases. As we know that AIDS is a viral disease, so that cannot be possible. Color blindness, hemophilia, sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia, as we know that is a genetic disorder, but here color blindness and hemophilia, this can be sex-linked disease. So this is also going to be wrong. So here D will be option. Once again, for your further explanation, let you inform some my dear that diphtheria, leprosy, plague, these all are bacterial disease. It's polio, pneumonia, gonorrhea, syphilis. These all are viral disease. And Japanese bee, yes, encephalitis, both are protozoan disease, of course. Color blindness and hemophilia, no doubt that is a sex-linked disease, as we know that. And as we know that sickle cell anemia, that is of course it's a genetic disease. In that condition, RBC is going to become a sickle shape, and due to that, yes, the patient is having, of course, the person is having the problem for oxygen deficiency, because as we know that what's the function of RBC? RBC is going to carry all the oxygen, of course. So definitely, because it's that's a shape like a big concave shape, so it's easy to attach to the oxygen bound and the transportation of the oxygen from, as we know, lung to other body. So here D can be correct here. Now sorry, 55, let's see, 55 number questions. A person AB, as we know, the person B, the AB blood group, is sometimes called universal recipient because of, as we know that, if you know that what's the difference between the universal donor and universal recipient, then definitely it is asking that why they are universal recipient, because of universal recipient. So firstly, I would like to detect you that who is the recipient and who is especially universal donor. See, a person having blood group AB is called universal recipient. AB blood group person, a person is having the AB blood group is called universal recipient. And as we know that, why it is so, because there is no antibody found in the AB blood groups, so that's why this is main reason, that's why. But when there is no found any kind of the antigen, that's called universal, yes, donor. So O will be here, universal donor. So here, why it's a universal recipient? Because of, yes, there is no found, yes, there is no found, yes, lack of the antibody in the blood. So that's why antibody, lack of the antibody, of course, no presence of the antibody, that will be called a universal recipient. And yes, no presence of the antigen, that will be called a universal donor. Remind you that it's repeated time to time by your patient, of course. See, which one of the following is a membrane that's the protect developing the embryo from, yes, desiccations? So of course the becomes that is a, yes, 57, that is going to be a D, of course. Yolk sacs. The way to show, because as we know that amnion is a membrane that will protect the developing embryo by a fluid filled the space called amniotic cavity, of course, and is the form of the embryo, my dears. 57. Which one? Yes, the following antimicrobial drugs is suitable for the treatment of the both tubercle infection and leprosy. Yes, both tuberculosis and leprosy. Of course, this is a rare foundation. Yes, as we know that, let you inform some ideas what is leprosy. Leprosy is caused by the Mycobacterium leprae, and the tuberculosis is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So the effective drugs for Mycobacterium species, of course, pharmacy, mostly doctor, they prefer to give some the prescription in a starting stage of course. Now 58. The normal temperature of the human in, of course, the Kelvin scale, so definitely 310, of course, no doubt. Because normal human temperature, as we know, 37, so when we are going to the convert here, then when we convert 37 Celsius convert into the Kelvin, then it becomes, yes, 273 plus, yes, 37, that is equal to 310 K, of course. 59. Which one of the following, yes, the elements are present in all protein, of course. What is the protein? Protein is, as we know that we can define from the protein, that is a complex organic compound of the carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, long chain molecule composed of the amino acid. If we go for the structure, then RC as, yes, and as 2COO as, that is joined by the peptide bond. In abbreviately, of course, I can say this is a sequence of the amino acid. So carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, of course, all are is going to be the correct in here. 60 number question. See, which of the following hormone contains iodine? Iodine, that is, of course, that is a thyroxines. Why it is so? Because as we know that, if we go for explanation, why thyroxine? A thyroxine hormone and iodo, of course, thyroid hormone, yes, are secreted by the thyroid follicular cell of the thyroid gland. So the major component of the thyroxine hormone is iodine. Where there is going to be deficiency of the iodine, the goiter comes in down, of course. That's in roughly language, of course, that we can say Higa due to deficiency of the iodine, my dears. So here, let's see next slide. #61. By weaving thread of the physics, chemistry, biology into other is tapestry is remarkable. Scientists improved, of course, the scientist provided by unifying the molecular views of the one world. He touted the wonderful the property of the vitamin C. He is the first as the cure of the common cold, largely preventing the agent against the cancer. Here's one of the signs is major figure all the time referred to above. Which one is going to be, of course, Linus Colpon. Why it is shows? Because this is a Linus Colpon. Of course, why it is show? Because for further explanation, of course, I can say Linus Colpon is the only much known for his, yes, controversial thesis, of course, the proposing that high dose of the vitamin C, yes, wouldn't helping only the prevention of the common cold, it's also the prevention of the cancer, of course. Linus Pauling, of course, is the only person to receive 2 unshared Nobel Prize in 1954 for chemistry and 1962 for peace. So definitely there is that. Now 62. Yet it begins in the single cell and grow into the, of course, merciless disease that the claims of the millions often the lives and years after year. But scientists are steadily, of course, unlocking it. Yes, mysteries that they find against it may have the rest dramatic turning the point. Now discover the promise, the better therapist, and hope in the war against. So this disease is the referred. Quotation is, of course, no need. There should be no doubt that is a cancer, because as we know that when we are going to define about the cancer, what is a cancer? The cancer, of course, is a disease characterized by abnormal cell growth. Remind you that later resulted the tumor when the tumor successfully spread to the other parts of the body, start invading, destroying other healthy tissue. Cancer can be classified carcinoma, sarcoma, melanoma, of course, according to other tissues. So cancer, yeah. And tuberculosis is bacterial infection, as we know that it's in the acquired immune deficiency syndrome. So 63. With the following, see, of the 4 landmarks in medical history given below, one was the first taking the place to invent. Which one was? Of course, and there should be no doubt that of course, test tube baby, my dears. C will be 63. Why it shows? Because if you go for the exact date that which was sorry, not a test tube baby, that was a D, my dear. This is wrong. So because exact date of the plastic surgery, that was plastic surgery, that was, you know, that by Dr. John Patermaster in 1827. So D will be correct. When we talk the organ transplantation, of course, by Joseph Mary in 1959, bypass surgery 1960, of course, Albert Einstein, and test tube baby Lucia Brown in 1978. So last one, of course, that we can give that a test tube baby, and the first one we can give, of course, John Patermaster, that invented, of course, the plastic surgery in 1827. So they will be correct in here. Now, according to the World Health Organization, often disease risk cause the deaths of the largest number of the people today. That is, there should be no doubt, that is your tuberculosis, of course. 64 is going to be a tuberculosis. Why? Because the caused by bacterium, mycobacterium tuberculosis. Infection the caused by drinking infected milk, breathing in infected dust, droplet infections through having the germs cup in the face, of course. 65, that is questions nutritional deficiency condition that need to be given top the priority for remedial actions in, of course, India today. That is, of course, rickets. Why it is so? Because as we know that, yes, ricket not ricket is the nutritional deficiency. Here, see, xerophthalemia, that can be here 65. 65 is going to be, of course, C, xerophthalemia. Why it is so? Because xerophthalemia, as we know that, it is caused by vitamin A imbalancing, of course. Generally, this is the found in the poor section of the society, where the symptoms include night blindness and the eye irritation. That can be, of course, here. So 65 is going to be C. Why it showed? Because as we know that nutritional deficiency, I am talking about the condition that needs to be given the top priority for is remedial action in today. So this one is going to be, of course, when we talking about the nutritional deficiency, that can be, of course, here, that is a B. Now that is going to be a C. Where is that? Is a C, xerophthalemia due to vitamin imbalancing. Here is a question. Yes, nutritional deficiency condition that need to be given top priority for the remedial action of that, of course, due to vitamin of A imbalancing, xerophthalemia. As we know that where there is going to be a imbalancing of the vitamin A, that condition, of course, is, you know, lycopene, that is, of course, assisting the tear production, where we are going to see that where there is going to deficiency of the lycopene due to deficiency of the imbalancing of the vitamin A, that condition. Cornea is going to be, as we know that lycomal tear is not the produced, of course, by lycomal gland. At that condition, of course, the cornea is going to become hard at that condition. When the cornea become hard at that condition, of course, there will be a problem of the transparency, of course, through the cornea of lens. So definitely the gradually it's going to be a blindness. So xerophthalemia, that is imbalancing of the vitamin D, reminder that. So 65 is going to be a C. Now 66. Once again, let you inform, xerophthalemia is caused by the vitamin A. Remind you that it happens in the poor section of the society. That's why here we can go for top priority for remedial action of the nutritional deficiency. Now concept is cleared. Now 66. As we know, 66 of the questions is going to be here answer B. Of course. Why it is so? Because as we know that vitamin deficiency is going to lead to your keratin. Keratin is a vitamin, of course. Keratin is a vitamin. So 66 is going to be a B here. So keratin will be A is going to be a true. Enzyme, as we know that pepsin is of course enzyme, so B is going to be the one, of course. And hormone, the progesterone is a hormone, as we know that, and protein is a keratin, as we know that. So this will be, once again I repeat, the 66 number, as we know 66 is going to be a B. Why it is so? Because vitamin A group of course include, yes, the retinol, their parents, the keratin is the vitamin substances as a beta carotene. Pepsin is enzyme that's produced in the stomach with digest of the protein, as we know. Progesterone is a hormone that is produced in the ovary, of course, and keratin is the protein, of course, that's main component of the nail and hair, of course, and that can be. So now 67. Which one of the following is associated with the diabetes mellitus as the comment is in the adult? Yeah. Which one is going to be? High sugar level in the blood. Here I am talking about not a diabetes, of course, type 1, type 2 diabetes, of course, mellitus. So diabetes mellitus here, 67. Firstly, let you define what is the diabetes mellitus. Yes, diabetes mellitus is the cause due to deficiency of the insulin hormone, of course, and the insulin hormone to maintain the blood sugar in body, of course. Deficiency of the insulin hormone in the body causes increased level of the sugar in the blood, so it's leading to the diabetes mellitus. So there should be no doubt that 1 and 3 will be here. Why it is so? Because in that condition sugar will be high and insulin, of course, the higher insulin level will be there. Sorry, no, insulin level will be lower. So 1 and 3 is absolutely, so D will be the correct, because at that condition the insulin deficiency will be there, sugar level will be higher. So because what is the role of the insulin? Of course, the regulating of the sugar. Now 68 number C. It's transmitted to the bisexual intercourse, of course, that can be by blood transfusion, of course, by mosquito and other blood sucking insect, that cannot be across the, of course, through the placenta, that can be also. So which one is going to 1, 2 and 4? B will be the correct. 68 is going to be a B, of course. Let you define what is that. AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome, is a viral disease, as we know. And which virus is going to be? HIV, human immune viruses, of course. This is the transmitted by sexual intercourse, yes, blood transfusion, and from the pregnant mother, of course, from the pregnant mother to baby through the placenta, of course. 69 now. See, which in the following is going to lead to the malnutrition? Yes, overnutrition, undernutrition, imbalanced nutrition. So there is no doubt that the 69 is going to be, because as we know that malnutrition is defined as the insufficient, excessive, imbalanced consumption of the nutrient. So under the nutrition over the nutrition, imbalance in nutrition lead to malnutrition. That can be, of course. Now 70 is the people drinking water from the shallow hand pump are likely to suffer from all following diseases except fluorosis, of course, until unless there is not going to deposition of the fluorine. Yes, this cannot be. So except that cholera, of course, waterborne disease, of course, jaundice, waterborne disease, typhoid is also waterborne disease. So fluorosis, that cannot be. So D is going to be absolutely correct. So my dear, the way it is show D60, because of cholera, typhoid, jaundice, these all are the waterborne diseases. Remind you that. And because why it's a waterborne disease? Because in the shallow hand pump there is a possibility of the microbial contamination, yes, the bacteria to the water, but the fluorosis occurs due to excess amount of the fluorine found in the water, of course. So D will be here the correct answer, my dear. D. Besides the protein, carbohydrates, other the elementary nutrition, the value found in the milk include, of course, which one is going to be? Potassium, calcium, iron. What do you think is that? Beside, here's the asking that, of course, beside the protein and carbohydrate, it's as we know that. So other element nutritional value for, so calcium, of course, the highly amount is there. So now see, we have the choice in here. calcium potassium ion, that can be the concern here. 71 is going to be here calcium and a potassium measure amount here, my dear. So B will be the correct. 71 is going to be what is so. Once again, let you inform that beside the protein and the carbohydrate, they approximately 67% of the calcium and the magnesium 35% and 44% of the phosphorus that found in the milk. Remind you that. So that's why, of course. Now 72 fat. 72 that the fat the present below a skin surface in our body act as barrier against of course loss of the heat of the forms of the body. Definitely they will cancel. So 72 is going to be a no doubt here. Why it is so? Because the fat present has a, of course the fat present below the skin surface in the body act as insulator against loss of the heat, of course, from the body, and deposited fat works as the barrier to which they prevent loss of the heat. That's why especially. Now 73. See, the major chemical compound found in the renal stone, a kidney stone, of course. Which one is the calcium oxalate? High amounts, because 85% is going to be the calcium oxalate deposition. That's the forms of the renal stone, of course. So 73 is going to be a C. White tissue. Further explanation, of course, when we talking the composition of the kidney stone, a renal stone, then of course 80% is calcium oxalate, uric acid 5% is amino acid, cysteine and magnesium. Yes, amino acid and the cysteine 2% is the magnesium, ammonium phosphate that is the 13% is the remainder of that. So that's why 80% is calcium oxalate. So definitely we can give the priority of the calcium oxalate here. 74. The pituitary gland, so by virtue of its traffic that harms the control secretory activity of other endocrine glands, which one following the endocrine glands can function independent of the pituitary gland. As we know that the pituitary gland is the master gland. Most of the gland is controlled, but it is only when the parathyroid gland, this is not controlled by the pituitary gland. So definitely the cancel that here. The question asking that yes, independent function means that is not the controlled. So of course thyroid is the controlled by pituitary, of course adrenal also, gonads also. So here D will be correct answer. Parathyroid, of course the parathyroid gland, that is not controlled by, of course, here. So that can be. So the matter is the white is so the further the explanation, of course, I mean 74, of course I can say that 74 is going to be a parathyroid gland. This is the gland which is not controlled by the parathyroid gland, which is secreted from this. Of course the gland that regulates the calcium plus phosphorus in our body. Remind you that. Now 78. Oxygen from yes, first oxygen comes from first in the, of course, the blood through firstly where. So definitely I'm the correct the sequence of the, of course, the transportation. So as when we're talking about the 75, so that is of course the human body, oxygen first comes in the lung, from lung to difference by the tissue. So here the question asking that oxygen firstly where comes. So definitely it comes from, yes, oxygen comes from firstly lung to, of course, has been that lung to blood to other tissue. So which can be the concern here? The 75 is going to be C, of course. Firstly of course it will come in the lung, then we will it will come in the blood to, of course, different tissue. So C will be the correct. Now that's the question of this slide. Is the corpus luteum is the mass of the cell that found in the where, that is of course is going to be of course ovary. Why it shows? Because the 76, as we know that here, as the corpus luteum is the mass of the cell that is found in the ovary. That's why if the produce the progesterone, the half, of course, if the ovary is not fertilized, corpus luteum degenerate after about 2 weeks. It is gradually replaced by ordinary ovary tissue once again. So definitely here B will be the correct ovary. So this is all about, of course, zoology paper, and next the questions sequence wise. I will proceed in the next video tutorial. Thank you.